Okay, let's get started. So, good evening, everybody. My name's Dan Ingham. I'm the Senior Account Manager within the business here at Fixture. Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday evening for the Match Fees webinar. Alongside me tonight is Matt Newton. Matt heads up all our development and things like that. Matt's going to jump in if he's needed, but as I say, Matt is with us this evening. He's a gentleman within the business that obviously looks after all the developments and the products and things like this for us. So, as I say, Matt will be silent most of the evening, but as I say, if he needs to jump in, he will do. Okay, a little bit of housekeeping rules, as I say. So what's going to happen this evening, we're going to go through the presentation on screen, as you can see now. We're also then going to go into doing some live demos as well. We're then going to, as I say, come back onto this as well, and we're going to have some questions and answers as well. So at the top, you can probably see where it says Q&A. If you have got any questions, please pop them in as the webinar is going along. I will get to those at the end. As you can probably understand, I can't do it during this, but we'll get to those at the end. It may be something that we cover off during the demonstration and the webinar as well. But as I say, if you pop it in there, we can go through it. There's no such thing as a daft question as well, because I know a lot of you will all be at different levels. Some people will be new users to Fixture, some will be experienced users that have been with us for a while. But as I say, just ask away. There's no such thing as a daft question, and we'll sort of move on without any sort of further ado. Okay, so as I say, what we're talking about tonight is a match fees webinar. So points we're going to cover today is introduction to match fees. We're going to talk about how we set it up. We're going to show you how to select players and request payments from both the admin dashboard and from the manager app as well. We're going to show you again in the club app how members pay. And we're going to show you how to track your payments, including in a new update. So again, this is something Matt's been heavily involved with, obviously launching these. Now, they've been live a couple of weeks now. But as I say, we've sort of listened to your feedback and what you've said to us. So again, we've moved forward and done it for you as well. Don't forget as well, Fixture, it's always welcoming feedback as well. If it's something you think will benefit your club, if it benefits your club, I'm sure it will benefit other clubs as well. So we're always willing to listen to the type of feedback you've got as well. If we can do it, we'll do it. If we can't, I'm sure we'll give you a reason and an explanation why we can't as well. Okay, benefits of using online payments and match fees. I think what the last probably 2 years has taught us is, we shouldn't be handling cash anymore. We should be sort of going to online payments and, paying for things online and digital and things like that. So again, it's something that we need to look at. You can go onto Fixture Clubhouse and it will give you 15 reasons why or why we think you should be using this. But I've picked out 5 key reasons. Now, it increases revenue. People say to me, well, how's that going to increase revenue? Because it tells us who has and hasn't paid. We've all got those people within the club where they'll say to us, yeah, I haven't got any money, or if you can get away without paying, they will do. Or my favourite at my rugby club, they always say to me, Dan, I've got no money, I'll pay next week. But after the game, they're always stood at the bar with a pint in their hand. I'm thinking, well, how does that work? Probably again, because you've been able to use the card behind the bar. And again, you speak to a lot of the younger end. I know I'm slightly different. I still like to have a little bit of cash in my wallet. But I think you speak to a lot of people now and they just don't carry cash, because it's so easy now. It's quick and easy requesting of payments. You can track and record every payment again. So again, this is really going to help your treasurer and save off, save hours and hours of admin time, no longer having to pick up an envelope behind the bar that's full of cash, finding out who it belongs to, who's paid, who hasn't. So it's going to save him hours and hours of admin. Process your payments 24/7. So if for one evening, one late one night, you can do it. You can do it in the middle of the night. If you wake up, you don't have to be at the club to do this. And again, reduces volunteer admin. We all know, again, at the end of the day, you're all volunteers, do it for the love of the sport and the love of the club. So if you can make your life easier, it's there. And as it says there, getting away from cash and trips to the bank as well. Here we go. One of my favourites again, Homer Simpson, as you can see there. When you say to somebody, right, I'm going to go around collecting match fees, there's always that one person or that couple of people that will disappear and you won't see them. So again, we're going to talk about next level reporting is now live. So we asked for some feedback, as I mentioned previously. A couple of ones we've sort of selected here. Admins and coaches need an easy way to find out who we're behind and who's not paying. Again, They need to identify where matches have not been paid and how they can request it as well, rather than going through individuals. And again, being able to chase late payments. So again, you can see the people that are constantly not paying, the people that are constantly late. And again, when we show you later on how it works, I think you'd be quite surprised how in depth it actually goes to show you, right, we've got one person here who doesn't pay towards, you know, the end of the month or beginning of the month, whenever it may be. So again, it's something we can always look at. Fixture report, again, this is brand new as well, so it's easily find the fixtures and the outstanding payments. You can filter by team, by date, by percentage. That's something that's really good and new that's coming as well. Dead easy to send reminders, and like I mentioned before, we can identify the trends as well, what's going on. Player report, very, very similar to the fixture report, but this goes a little bit further, so we can see a subtotal of how much that player owes. So we know, for instance, if it's £100 outstanding throughout the season, we know that's £100 the club is missing out on as well. Progress bars we mentioned before with the percentages, and again, we can send one payment request in seconds and it'll be asked to pay for all our outstanding fees at once. So again, that's something that's new to us as well. Cash in hand no longer works. This is one of my favourite slides. Those have been on my webinars and things before that will have heard me say this before, but team captains they've got enough responsibility, you know, running a team and captaining the team and make sure, you know, they put out the best and win. You don't want them, you know, walking around with bags full of cash and it's going in his bag during the game and things like this. We've already mentioned about handling cash and how it's best avoided. Members were mentioned before easily get away, you know, without paying. It's difficult to keep track, as I mentioned. You know, he'll hand in the bag of money behind the bar, but it doesn't say who's not paid, who has paid. And again, the treasurer's left with a load of change. And we always get that one comedian in the club, I'm sure we know it is, that wants to pay him 5p pieces and things like this. You know, it's not ideal, is it? As we all know, it's a bit of fun, bit of banter, but it's just not the easiest. And the old-fashioned one, yes, when I was a captain at my rugby club, I was terrible of this. So, yes, we do drink too much, but I think one of the things is when we're having a good win or we've had a good day, so it's quite easily just buy a round of drinks for all the players out of the match fees, which I've seen done many, many a time. As I say, I have been guilty myself. So, like match fees, it's been going now. I bet it's pushing nearly 2 years. It says here it's been live for over a year. Yeah, I bet it's nearly pushing 2 years, if we're honest. Feedback's been amazing. You've only got to go on pitchhero.com and just look at some of the feedback that we've had. It's extremely easy to use. It takes less than 5 minutes to set it up, which we're going to show you how to do that. And what we say is as well, because it is a big thing for your club, we understand that. You know, we understand that you've got routines at a club that, you know, you've done for a number of years. You know, Derek stood at the bar collecting match fees for the last 20 years. Why do we need to change it? Obviously, we've gone through the reasons why, but just trial it with one team. You know, trial it with the team, see how it goes, see what you think. And I think you'd be pleasantly surprised to see how easy and straightforward, as I say, it is to do. Here's a little video we put together when we first launched it. So I'm just going to play this video now for you. So that was a video we launched, obviously, when we launched the products and the match fees, just to show you again how easy it was. Bonus point for anybody can name the club, the rugby club stroke cricket club it was done at. That'd be a bonus point for anybody recognises that. But as I say, it was just to sort of show you how easy and straightforward it really is. Don't know if those are aware that are new to Fixture Hero, there is two apps. There was the manager app, which coaches and captains will need to be able to set the match fees and be able to send them out. And there's also the club app that everybody else in the club needs, who are able to then go in, see their match fee requests and get that paid through the app as well. Okay, so what will you need to set this up? You'll need a webmaster with access to match fees. Coaches need the team admin access using the manager app. Players and parents need the club app again, so they can then go in to pay it. What we need to do, so one thing you need to bear in mind is when you set up match fees at your club, you need to set up a Stripe account. Yes, for those that have been with us, know we have got a Go cardless as well as a payment provider. But as it stands at the moment, you can only use Stripe to set up the payments and things on match fees. So you have to set up a Stripe. Set up the fees for your teams, then again, we start collecting match fees. So again, bill players, so you can select your team and request a payment. So again, you're billing players for actual played rather than actually those that didn't. You can add them manually. And I say this can be done on the desktop or on the manager, which we're going to pop into now. And we're just going to show you. So without further ado, I will come out of there. I will now go into my training site, which is Fixture Hero Cricket Club. Okay, so first thing we need to do, as we mentioned, we need to make sure we have a webmaster who's got access to payments and match fees. So first things first, again, this is a Fixture Hero Cricket Club. So first of all, I will say it is slightly outweighed in certain areas because it is a training site. So obviously there will be a lot of people that haven't paid. Yours will be completely different because all your players are going to pay and nobody's going to not pay. So again, left-hand side, we go into what's known as your admin dashboard. We then come down and where it says payment tools, we click on payment tools. We then click on payment providers. So as you can see, we've already got Go Cardless and Stripe enabled. What it would say there for you is if it isn't, you can set them up. So what happens is you go in to set up a Stripe account. It takes you off to Stripe itself, off to their actual database, and you then set up the details for your club. So again, you can set up if it's a cask and non-profit. It asks you the type of questions as well, but it takes you away from Fixture Hero. Again, it's all down to money laundering and things like, well, obviously when you're joining a normal bank account. So again, it is joining there for you as well. One thing I will say to you is as well, you can set up as many different Stripe accounts as you like. So as long as they're linked to the club, so you may have a bank account for instance, for the seniors, you may have one for the ladies, you may have one for the juniors, you may have one for the colts. As long as that bank account, as I say, that you want the money paid into is linked to your account, to your club, you can set up as many Stripe accounts as you want. That will become clear when we're going to set up the match fees in a minute where you actually just link. So as you can see here, where my pencil is here, I can rename again these if I wanted to do. So you could put, for instance, seniors, ladies, juniors, again, so you know which account is for which people. So once you've set up the Stripe account, nice and straightforward, we now need to go into match fees. So we're going to go into the dashboard here, within the match fees. We are going to come back into here as well, and we are going to show you again all the reporting tools. If I go into products here, you can see all the old sets of match fees that we've got. Now you can have as many sets of match fees as you like, but you can only link one team to one set of match fees at a time. Now the reason for this is so the system knows, again, which team's playing and again, which set of match fees to use, which again will become quite clear in the next couple of minutes. But we want to set up some match fees. So again, anything within green within Fixture Hero, it's always add. So if I click add match fees, it now asks me to give them a name. So for instance, we're going to call these, just for tonight, we're going to call it, webinar fees. Let's keep it nice and straightforward. Okay, we're then going to click next. It now asks us what we want to call our first set of match fees. So it may be somebody who starts your game, for instance, who's in the starting 11, 15, whatever it may be, may pay £10. Now, we want to add another option because not everybody in that team pays £10. So if I click another option there and add student. So if it's a student and they're playing for us, they're only going to pay £7. Again, what we're going to now do, because it's a cricket club, and if we've got Superstar Junior at 14, 15, that's going to play in the first team, we're now going to click this and call it Junior. All they're going to pay for match fees is £5. So again, the reason we're setting this up is because when you set the match fees up either on the dashboard or through the manager app, it automatically defaults to the first amount, which is a larger amount as a starter. But the team manager or captain can go in and he can amend the amount that they pay. That will become a lot clearer as well once we go in to show you this as well. So again, we want to set up the different fees. So these are the 3 types of fees I've got, and I'm now going to click next. Now, remember I said to you before, you could only add 1 team to each set of match fees. So what I'm going to do now is going to add a team. So the ones that are grayed out, you can see here, they're already added to a set of match fees. But because the men's first team isn't, I can tick them and I can save it again. So you can see we've set up webinar match fees and the men's first team. You can add as many teams as you like to a set of match fees, but it can only be linked to 1 set of match fees. I hope that makes sense. Again, we click next. It then gives us a review. So again, we can see here it's a card. If we had different cards, different accounts on there, it would ask us to choose which account we want. And as I say, because there's only 1 Stripe account set up, it automatically links it to that because like I said before, it has to be Stripe and not go cardless. So we'll check it all, it's all okay. We can check all the fees and things like this. At this point, if I go, oh yeah, I want to add another option, I can do, but no, I want to finish the setup. So we can now see, if you scroll down to the bottom, we've got webinar match fees. Just quickly, if you ever wanted to remove anybody from this, if I just go into the challenge game set of match fees here, and I go up to the info, so the teams here, if I just hit the dustbin, again, I can remove them, then I can add them, as I say, to the webinar match fees if I wanted to do. So that's how easy it is. You just keep going in to remove it. Then, as I say, you just add it to the appropriate match fees that you need. Okay, so we set up the match fees, everything's fine. So as we mentioned before, there's 2 ways now we can set the match fees. So first way, we're going to go through the dashboard and show you like this. Match fees was set up and designed to go through the manager app. So the captain or the manager, as he's walking into the changing rooms, basically goes in through the team selection, sets the match fees up and sends it as he's walking into the changing rooms. They'll get 11, 15 beeps, whatever it may be, on their club app to say your match fees now due, and they can go in. But again, if you wanted to do it, the treasurer wanted to do it, for instance, he can do, or she can do, should I say. So again, we go into teams as we would. We're going to use a men's first team here, for instance. And I've set up a couple of friendlies. So again, on Saturday, Fixture Report Cricket Club is going to play Yorkshire Cricket Club. So again, we click on the fixture as you would do, and we then click into match fees. So again, we will do this through the club app and the manager app as well. Now here, if we had used team selection, we can clone the team selection if we wanted to do. So again, that would automatically put the team selection into here. So that's not a problem. But what you can also do is add the players manually. So as you can see here, it brings me up a list of all the different players that I want to do. So I can say, right, I just want to pick through for the first team, for instance, because this is a first team game, apply the filter, and it now comes back and tells me again, these are all the first team players. So all I would do is pick the 11, I'll pick myself as well. We'll just keep scrolling down. Let's just say cricket's 11 players. Okay, so we picked 11 players and we now click done. So as you can now see, they've come across into match fees. It's given us obviously the name of the person. It tells us they're a starter and the amount they're going to pay. And it also says at the moment not sent. But if you look in the bottom left, it tells you how much you're expected at the moment as well. We're expecting £110. But I know, for instance, here, Abe, for instance, if I click into Abe, I know they're a student. So again, to click into them, again in the manager app, exactly the same, which I will show you, and I can click student and click out of there. And that now drops down to £7. And for those eagle eye, bottom left, that's now dropped down to 107. Joe Blogs, again, great name thinking by our marketing team, is a junior. So if I click into Joe, click junior, click out of there, we can see he's changed to £5 and £102 has now been set. Okay. What I want to do now, it's all good is this, and I click send. So now what happens? All of those 11 people in the match fees now receive a push notification to the club app to say your match fees for the game against Yorkshire Cricket Club are now due. They go into their club app and they pay it. So again, when I go into the club app, we will show you. So again, it's really, really easy, really straightforward to do. One thing you can also do as well, as say Annabella was leaving the club and she forgot her phone and she handed £10 over to the club captain, he can go into either the admin dashboard here or into the app, into the manager app. He can click on that person and he can click pay cash. So again, if I now click pay cash and confirm, you can now see that's turned green, but I can add a note. So I could put here, paid as left club. So again, we know what it's for and why they've paid cash again. So it's nice and easy, and I can click save. Come out of there. Assignment's been updated, and you can see now that's gone into paid. So as soon as they pay in the club app as well in real time, it goes straight back into here as well to say that person has paid as well. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to log into my own mobile phone. I'm going to share it, and we're going to go through the process again. Oops, we don't want that. That will keep the kids away from the fireplace. Let's just get this sorted out for you. Here we go. Okay, so as you can see here, this is my mobile phone. We're going to go across into here. So first of all, what we're going to do now, we're going to go into the manager app, and we're going to do exactly the same, but in the manager app. So again, nice and easy and straightforward, we go into the manager app. So again, if you had the team admin access, for instance, of that team, for instance, you would again see those fixtures. So again, we've just done the Yorkshire CC fixture, but we're going to do the Sunday fixture now against Lancashire. So again, nice and straightforward. We go into the manager app. We click into the manager app like this. So again, we can see the fixture. We click into match fees. So there you go. As you can see now, if you're lucky enough to have the same selection, it's asking you, do you want to use the same selection you played against Yorkshire? Or again, we can add the players. So again, let's just add the players, for instance. So again, it goes in. We just tick the 11 players like we do here. There you go. And I made that 11 players. So again, we can see some men's fixtures and things like that. So we can do this. I'm now going to say done. We can automatically see it comes across to the larger amounts. Again, we can mention again, for instance, Dan Bill. We can click into him and he's a student. You can see again, it's changed to £7 in the manager app. And at the bottom, it's changed to £107 as well. I can come down and I can look for here. So Natalia, we can say here again, they're a junior. And again, you can see that's changed as well. I now, as a captain, walks into the changing rooms on a Saturday or Sunday, whenever it may be, he just then clicks or she clicks send. Again, so everybody gets a push notification now to the club app to say, you've now been assigned your match fees. Can you please go in and pay them? So again, like before, if somebody wanted to pay cash for whatever reason, hopefully they won't because it'll take. So Joe Fisher, for instance, here, I can click into Joe. I can click pay cash. I can click confirm. And as you can see in real time, that's now changed. So again, you can see what's happening. Again, if I wanted to, I can go back into Joe. I can add a note. I can delete it because his mobile phone's being charged now and he's paid online. So I can do that. So again, all the different things that you can do through the manager app are at the touch of a button for you here. Nice and easy, nice and straightforward to what you're doing. Okay. So what I'll do now, we've shown you how that works. Again, if I got something wrong, for instance, if Dan Bills, for instance, just told me now, well, actually, I'm not a student anymore. I qualified last year. So again, I can go into Dan here. I can change it to a starter. I can update the assignment. And there you go. You will see it now. He's now gone back to the full £10. So again, it's easy to go back in if you make a mistake and change it. The manager, just as well as having a couple of drinks in the bar after, or the coach or the captain, can go back into here as well, just to make sure people are paying. And you can just say to somebody just while they're at the bar, just go into your club app, will you, and pay your match fees for me? Again, so they can do all this nice and easy and nice and straightforward as well. Okay, so I'm going to come out of the manager app now, and I'm going to go into the club app. So if I click the club app now, so again, Fixture Report club app. So again, remember, this is what everybody in the club needs. So not only the people of the managers and coaches, because they'll need the manager app, they also need this, and so does everybody else as well, including parents and players. What happens is when you have a parent-child account, if you send a match fee, for instance, to the child, as you're probably all aware, it will bypass the child and go straight to the parent, and the parent will be then asked then, as I say, to go in and to pay the match fees as well. So those of you who are eagle-eyed as well can see in the middle of the screen your match fees. Okay, so again, if you've got children, for instance, it will be in here as well when you go in. But as I say, you'll be able to see all this type of information as well. So it's all been sent out from the manager. That person's got the push notification. They've got into the club app, and they can see there they are in the middle of the screen. Your match fees are not paid, and you owe £20. So I'm going to think £20. I've only played one game this weekend, so I can now go in and press view. So as you can see there, it comes up with the oldest one. So there's a game here back in February, we played West Indies, and I've not paid my match fees. Now I've purposely not paid for it for when we go into the actual the new part of the reporting tools later on as well. But if I scroll down, I can see webinar fees there have been asked to pay. So this was the game I played against Yorkshire Rugby Club on the Saturday, and I owed £10. Now there's two different ways they can go in and pay this. They can pay by card, so it's debit card, credit card, and American Express as well. So they can go in, pay by card. They put the card details in, and it then asks them, do you want to pay for one set, or do you want to pay for all of your match fees that are outstanding? So they can then choose what they want to do. It also will ask them as well, do you want us to store your card details so you don't have to keep putting them in every single week? So they can do that. If they've got Apple Pay on their phone, again, they just click the Apple Pay symbol, they go into it, and again, like you did before, do you want to pay for both sets of match fees or just the one? Then they can then pay for that as well. Just put the thumbprint on, away you go, and it's paid straight away. Then in real time, it will come straight back into the system, into your admin dashboard, and into the manager app to say, Danningham has now paid. So again, you can go in through here nice and easy as well. Okay, so again, it's really straightforward, nice and easy. There's no bother about doing things like that as well. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to unplug my mobile phone. And what we're going to do now, oops, let me just click out of there. What we're now going to do, we're just going to go back into some of the other bits and pieces. So if we just go back into here. Okay. So again, we've jumped in there now. So let me, come out of there, beg your pardon, because we've changed the format of this. So excuse me, things never go easy, did it, when you're doing it online? Okay, so here we go. Give me a moment, there we go. So let's go back into the admin dashboard here. Okay, so let's come back into the admin dashboard, and we're going to talk now about some of the new different tools and things that we've launched. So again, left-hand side, click into match fees. So you've still got all the old reporting tools and things that you have. So if I go into the dashboard here for the match fees, bear in mind, this is a training site, so it is quite heavily outweighed. So as I say, you know, please just ignore that there, for instance. So we can see, for instance, obviously the assignments here, we've got £98. You can see the days and things when they came in and are not paid. But as I say, this is heavily outweighed and things because it is a training site. Okay, so what we're going to go into now, we're going to go into products where the new bits and pieces are. So again, into match fees, into the, beg your pardon, not into the products. Let's have a look, give me a moment, sorry. So we're back into dashboard again as we talk, scrolling down, and we want to have a look at fixture reports. So left-hand side, just under the dashboard where we can see all the peaks and troughs, we're going to go into fixture report. So again, if I click fixture report here, So this is a new section here. So this is where it shows you, for instance, all the different games and things that have been played. Now, this probably is only going to work ideally after you've played 2 or 3 games. But as you can see here, it gives a list of all the fixtures. It tells you the game, the date. It tells you the assignments. So we're looking there, for instance, Lancashire Cricket Club, 11. I can see here now there is a new percentage bar graph. So this is what we've added as well. So you might want to have a look and do different things with this. But I can see so far we've had a revenue of £10. So what I can do here, if I click the filters, for instance, I can filter by date. So it may be halfway through the season and you just want to know, for instance, you just want June's match fees, for instance, because everything else is fine. You sort of maze out, you just now want to look at June's. You can filter by teams. So if I go here, let's filter by the second team and we apply that filter. There you go. So there's just 4 second team fixtures there. I can go back into filters and I can view by percentage. So as we mentioned before, I might want to know, for instance, less than. So if I type in there 70%, I can apply that filter. So again, you can see these have paid by less than 70%. So you can see here, for instance, Yorkshire Cricket, 18% because we received 18% of the actual payments we were due because I've got £15. Grantham, for instance, that was just 4 assignments. And obviously I've had 50% of those coming in. So again, we can look at them. I might want to have a look at the actual game. So if I click in this game, it opens up a new page, but it takes me here to the match fees page. So we can now see, for instance, who played in that game, who's not paid. So again, we can see all that type of information as well. Okay. So we can then see, and again, if we needed to do, we can click request all payments. So again, if I click request all payments, everybody who played in that game is going to receive another push notification to say, basically, can you pay your match fees for the Yorkshire game back in whatever date it was? So again, you're constantly being able to get on them. And as we mentioned as well, people can no longer get away without paying. Again, it's going through. So again, we can go back into the filters and we want to say, right, let's just have a look. And I need to know who's paid 45% or more. So again, you can apply the filter. And again, you can see what's come up now. I've only got 1 fixture, but they've only paid 45% or more. So again, you can have a play with that. You can go through and it gives you all that type of information as well. Okay. So again, we go back into the dashboard again. Scroll down again, and now we're going to go into the player reports as well. So I can click into the player reports now. This gives me every single player that has actually been requested or asked to pay match fees. So we can go through now, obviously it's in alphabetical order now, so we can have a look, for instance, here, we need to know who the best payers are. So I can look, for instance, here at the top, and I can say, for instance, Abe Freeguard here, been assigned 16 times to pay a match fees. They've only paid twice. So again, you can see they've only paid 13%. What I can do now, I can click into that person and it now gives me a list. So the requested amount was £145. They've only paid £13. So there's £132 outstanding. So again, it gives me all that type of information. So as a club, you can now say, actually, we missed £132 from that one person. Why we're still, you know, if you're in a fortunate position, why we're still selecting that person to play because they're not paying match fees. It could be the other way. It could be that unfortunately they've lost a job or whatever for whatever reason, and they're struggling financially. Again, so you know, it gives you that. There's always a reason why people aren't paying, but it gives you the information that you need. I can request a payment. If it requests payment, it will then send a payment out to say, you're basically outstanding 14 payments. It will tell them about all of them and direct them into the club app as well. So what we can do, we can then go back into that. I can message, for instance. I've got all the filters that I want to look by. So if you just come out of there, for instance, and if it lets me go back, it has what I can do here. So I want to know, for instance, let me have a look to see by percentage, who's paid, who's my best player. So I'm going to click it 80%. And I'm going to click apply. So it now tells me, there you go, those are the 2 people that have paid 80% or more. Obviously, I'm in there because I'm a good player. I'm a good lad. I always pay my membership and match fees and things. But you can see there, Grace. So Grace has only played one game, but they've paid that one match fee. So again, they're at 100%. I might want to have a look, for instance, here. So I'm going to get rid of that. So I want to know, for instance, I'm going to go for 15% here. Who's paid less than 15%? So again, bear in mind, training site, you're going to get a lot of people come up. There you go, top of the pile again. But again, we can keep going through and we can keep seeing all the different things that are on here again. So I can look, for instance, again, we click into them. Again, it tells me the games that they've played in, tells me the amounts that they were owing again. We can go and view the fixture. Again, it opens up into a fixture, tells us that game, who paid. So we can say, well, hang on a minute, 2 people have paid. So obviously we know that, but again, it's just a way of going back into there as well and seeing what happens. And as I say, that will open in a new window for you. So we think it's really good. We think it's pretty, in fact, I think it's pretty damn good, to be honest. Obviously, it gives you all that information that you need. You can see the people that frequently are not paying as they should be. We can drill down and see as much information and things as we want. We've still got the rest of them as well. You can go in so you can see all the assignments as well. So I can see, for instance, here all the assignments, and I can request all of them if I wanted to do, rather than going into individuals. You might just want to go in as well. Don't forget as well on the match fees, when you send them a payment, when you send them a match fee request, 72 hours automatically, if they haven't paid, they will get another reminder. So again, so you're looking at like Tuesday. So if you do it on a Saturday, say lunchtime, they're going to get that round about Tuesday lunchtime again. So don't forget, they do get the automatic reminder and things as well. That's in there. Okay. So again, as I mentioned before, all the old bits and pieces are there as well. We can look at the transactions again, so we can see all the different information that's there again. And if we need to export the transactions, we can do. So the treasurer can then put them into whichever sort of system they're using, Sage, QuickBooks, Xero, things like that. We can do that. But again, so we've sort of gone from showing you the people who haven't paid, who have paid, to actually drilling down and giving you a list of those players again. So it just makes life a little bit easier for you guys as well. Okay. So let's just, as I say, just go through here again. Let's just have a little chat about what we did. Then we'll open the floor to some questions. So really, in summary, it's quick and easy to set up. You enable your strike, name your match fees and set them up, set the amounts, add the relevant teams to them. And again, we can track, again, who's paid. As I mentioned there, the automatic reminder after 72 hours. And again, we can use reports and things to be able to find that type of information as well. Don't forget as well, Fixture Report, we're always here to help. Again, so those of you that have got an account manager, you can book directly with your account manager. You can go onto fixturereport.com. You can book a call on there. You can book a demo. You can always contact support@fixturereport.com. They're always willing to help or point you in the right direction of where you need to go as well. We are back fully working again a bit. Some of us are still from home, or should I say we have a few days at home. A few of us, majority of us, are now back in the office as well. So again, that is fairly back up and running as normal. Again, go on to fixturereport.com. I mentioned before, you can request a demo. I always suggest, especially if I'm running demos and things like that, you're probably better to book a minimum of probably 45 minutes to an hour, just so again you can go through and you can ask questions and just make sure you get enough from it, because there's nothing worse than somebody wants a demo but they only book 15 minutes. Again, you've got to try and rush through, because 9 times out of 10 the level of calls and things booked in as well. Okay, so I suppose without further ado, we'll open the floor. I'm just going to have a quick drink because I have been talking for roughly about 40 minutes. So I'm sure you're fed up of listening to me, but if you just let me have a drink and give me a moment. Okay, so let's have a look. Les, I've seen you've raised your hand, but I will come to you in a moment. There you go. So we've all been through that. So Mark Stewart Thomason's asked here, can't we use a player category to select the appropriate fee? So what do you mean? Do you mean as in so it's set for you automatically? So for instance, if we say it's a first team player, they automatically get the first team sub. No, unfortunately, that's not possible. Again, it's because different sports all play different things as well. So, and again, we don't know. So, for instance, rugby union, for instance, you've got to be 17 to play senior rugby, but I know you can play hockey and cricket at 15 in the seniors. So, again, it's very, very difficult to obviously be able to do that. I hope that's what you meant. But as I say, if not, please come back to me as well. Barry said here, can you clone a team, then amend one or two as requested? Barry, yes, you can indeed. So you can clone the team, and again, you can just remove that person, and again, add the other person that you need to do, no problem at all. That's really straightforward to do. As I showed you before, as I clicked into that person to change the match fees, you can then click remove again in there, the manager app, so you can remove them, then add somebody in then again. So what age does the system recognise a child? It's not so much the system. The UK law states anybody 14 and below is not allowed a registered account with a sports club. Now, that's for obvious safeguarding reasons. Now, 98 to 99% of our clubs don't tell them this, and they don't let them have an account until they're a minimum of 16, 17. Two main reasons. One, A, how many people do you know at 15, 16 that are going to pay their own match fees? Probably not a lot. It's bank and mom and dad. And again, it's a safeguarding issue. So if anybody tries to communicate with a 15, 16-year-old child, it's going to bypass them and it's going to go, as I say, straight to mom and dad or the guardian. So again, that is something, you can decide amongst yourselves within your club. But as I say, the UK law does state 14 and below, you are not allowed an account on your own. Okay. Oh yeah, Matt's answered already. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. Obviously, I told you Matt was with me this evening, helping me out. So hopefully that's done. There you go. So John's asked here, can we instruct a system to send a monthly statement to anybody that has played? No, we can't, but it's not a bad suggestion. Matt's with us. So as I say, it's something we can raise with our development team and see what they think of it. Ideally, though, we shouldn't really need to do it because the idea of the match fees is so that they pay every single time. So again, you can keep on top of it. What happens is if we start sending out a monthly statement for things like that, you're going to get people that are not going to pay. They're going to wait until sort of the end of the season as well, or the end of the month. So probably thinking about it now, it's probably not ideal, but I'm sure if Matt's listening, I'm sure he is, he might pop up and say something in a moment. Hiya, Chrissy, hope you're well. Chrissy said, why is each team limited to one set of match fees? There might be a need for more, e.g. Okay, Chrissy, so just to let you know, so if we basically link, say for instance, we link the under 16 to two sets of match fees, when we go into that person to make sure they're paying the appropriate match fee, the system wouldn't know which one to do. So it may be if you play a league game at your club, it's £8, but if a cup game's £7, but if we put both together, the system wouldn't know where it's picking from, so we wouldn't be able to choose which appropriate match fees. So as I mentioned before, what you can do, you can then, as I say, you can take the team away from that set of match fees. And if it's a cup weekend, just add them to the cup fixture or the cup match fees again, then just remove them the week after. So it's really straightforward. So hopefully that sort of answered that one as well for you. Laura Starkey has said to us here, when I replay reports, I filter by the teams and status, etc. But on all of these filters, there is no option to export the data so I can transfer to Excel. Laura, this is the type of feedback that we're looking for. Yes, you're right. At the moment, you can't export the data. There's a couple of reasons. Obviously, you may need to do that, like you say, to put it onto Excel. It all depends. We appreciate every single club runs differently. The idea of match fees is so you can send them, obviously, the reminders through the messaging service, through the push notifications. But we do. So again, I know Matt's listening, so it's something we can definitely mention to Matt. And as I say, we'll see what we can do there and see if it's something that is viable to be able to do an Excel export onto an Excel or a CSV. So yeah, it's something we can do. Michael's asked, Michael, sorry to miss the start. Is this available in a new version? What's wrong with the old version? I haven't been that bad, have I? No, I know what you mean. So yeah, Michael, as long as you've registered, everybody would automatically be sent a copy of this as well. So you can show it to other people as well. You might think it's a great idea, so you might want to show somebody else in the club. So again, they can listen to this webinar as well. Okay. So let me just get onto some of the Q&As. Les, I told you I'd come to here. So what are the fees for doing this? Okay, Les, it all depends on what type of package you're on. So if you're on the package, say the elite package, which is a middle of the road package, you would pay 3.3% per transaction plus 20 pence. If you was on the ultimate one, you would pay 2.3% per transaction plus 20 pence. The thing you've got to think about there as well, you know, one of the biggest sort of stumbling blocks we come across is people say, well, Derek stood at the bar for 20 years collecting match fees, and he doesn't take a fee, he just goes straight to the club. Appreciate that. But just think of all the admin it saves, those people that get away without paying. Les has done this for 20 years, for instance, you know, at the bar, for instance, so he's probably fed up of doing it every single game he might want to get some of his life back. But again, it just gives you all the tools. You've only got to collect 2 or 3 sets of match fees, and it automatically pays for the actual transaction fees as well. So again, hopefully that sort of answers that question as well. Les has asked again, can there be an auto increase if not paid? Say 24 hours, we find that adding £2. Les, I love your thinking. I really, really do. I'd like to implement that in my rugby club. Yeah, very much like if you don't pay it today, it's going to go up from 5 to 7. You can't, no. The only way you could ever do that is to go into it manually and again, call it a late payment and again, and just amend it. So like you did before in the manager app, we went in, we clicked on the person and we amended it. You can do it that way. It's a very sort of round the houses way of doing it. But again, it is possible to do. But I do like your thinking behind that, Les. As I say, it is a great question and a great way to do that as well. Okay, I'm just going to have another drink. I'll give you people another couple of minutes if you think of any questions, as I say, to start typing them in now for us before I leave you all on this Wednesday evening. Yes, I think it's one of those things really, you know, match fees, it really is designed to help you guys and take away obviously a lot of the time you spend running a club. You know, we've been there as well. And I get it, like I said, it's missing the revenue as well. You know, if you think about it over the season, the amount of revenue that you possibly will miss from people not paying and get away. You've only got to have a few people, like we showed you in the training site, with £120, for instance. You've only got to get 2 or 3 of them, and before you know it, you're pushing best part of £400. £400, you know, to probably nearly all, if not all our sports clubs that are with us, is a lot of money. You know, you've got to sell a lot of sort of beer behind the bar to make that up. You know, you've got to get a lot of sponsorship in as well, just to make that sort of money up as well. So obviously it is there as well. It looks like I've got no more questions coming in, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. As I say, if you've got your account manager and you've got any further questions, please drop them an email, book a call in with them. Again, people have raised their hands. Does anybody want to obviously pop the question into chat and into Q&A if you have got a question as well for me? As I say, yeah, so contact your account manager. You can contact support@pitchhero.com. Again, or you can go onto pitchhero.com and you can book a demo and things like that on there, and somebody will always come up with you. Okay, so I've got no further questions. I will sort of leave it there then. Thank you very much indeed for your time. It's really appreciated. Enjoy what's left of the evening and look after yourselves, and no doubt we will all speak very soon indeed. Okay, thank you very much indeed and good night.